me, DMC, in a place to be, and I know a lot about places to be. DMC is in the place to be, and you are listening to Rock and Metal News, because there ain't no other place for you to be listening to anything else. Hey, Ron, what's up? This is D.
Hey, D, how's it going?
What's going on?
Hey.
Where you at?
I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So
It's freezing here.
I heard.
Freeze.
Yeah, I heard that big storm was headed your way about 3 days ago.
Yep. Now it's clear, you know, the streets are clear, but now it's cold.
Oh, man. I've been following Generation Kill for a while now, and I've kind of interviewed Rob Dukes a couple times, and it's
really
cool to follow the
How long have you known Dukes?
Well, since Red, White, and Blood, so maybe about 4 years ago when they came with Slayer and Rob Zombie. And I think James DeMaria was still the drummer. He was the drum tech for Exodus, and we interviewed them, James and Rob, behind the scenes at the Slayer show regarding Generation Kill. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow, get out of here. That's dope.
Yeah, and then he came back, then they came back again and played, and I interviewed him a second time with their kind of about their new album when they were putting out their new album, We're All Gonna Die, so it's pretty cool.
Right.
Generation Kill enters the scene a little while back now, so a crossover thrash band. So they're formed in New York, and they have Rob, former vocalist Rob Dukes from Exodus, and ex-Propane and MOD member Rob Machete. Now, this is going to be very interesting to me. I'm looking forward to it because of a couple of things. Your influence in the thrash sort of metal heavy guitar and the lyrics. I'm going to be very interested to see what you guys are singing about, and I know Rob writes amazing lyrics, and yourself as well. So are you guys sharing the lyrics writing or sharing the vocals on each song, or how is that working out?
Yeah, it's kind of like we didn't get intricate yet, but it's getting there. But it's kind of like what the early MCs did. You know, before me and Run started switching off with one word, it was total phrases. You know what I'm saying? I ill, I chill, we skill, I kill, and none of my rhymes are run of the mill. I cause grief, I'm chief, there is no beef, and if there's beef, I knock out teeth and then run go.
Nice.
So me and Rob, we staying in who we are. We're staying in our character. You know what I'm saying? And it's me and Rob Dukes on records doing what we do. And the crazy thing is, it's coming out scary, incredible, even much better than we imagined it.
Yeah, I heard some of the promo videos, and it sounds amazing.
The funny thing is beautiful because it's so weird that it's like, whoa, what do we have here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's Rob being Rob, and it's D being D. But I think what really is making it work is the records that we are making. Even though they're fun, the reason why it's really working is fun as hell. The whole writing process, the whole when Generation Kill is coming up with the tracks and all of that, the whole interaction in the studio is fun. But I think what's really, really bringing this project together is the themes of each record, whether it's political, whether it's about relationships, whether it's about suicide, whether it's about substance abuse, alcohol. We have so much in common. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like even finding out that, me and Rob, I've been sober for 10 years. He's been sober for 20.
Wow.
The whole inner workings of, having things in this music business, really shake you, wake you up and disturb you. You know what I'm saying? Even though the genres, like with the Beastie Boys.
Those are good lyrics right there. I said those were good lyrics right there.
Exactly. So with the Beastie, people always wondered how the hell did Run-DMC and the Beasties work, or even how did, Aerosmith and Run-DMC work. But the whole thing is, it's the same together and you present them simultaneously, it creates a wonderful kaleidoscope of relatable sounds, images, and emotions, if I had to describe it. But in the short thing, it's Rob being Rob and D being D, and people wondering, what the hell is that about?
Yeah, that's what's going to be so cool. You're going to be touching, so many different people, exposed to a lot of different people now because of this. And
right.
Now Bumblefoot, he's involved in this project, and how is he influencing anything? Is he throwing out ideas? Is he playing a bit on it?
Yeah. Rob Machete described it like this: when Bumblefoot is the producer, Bumblefoot comes along to produce and play. You know what I'm saying? We like, Bum, if you're going to be doing anything, you ain't just going to be pushing no buttons. You're going to play. You're going to, whatever it is, if we need to change that, if we should do that, we're going to do that. Yesterday, when I was speaking to Rob, he said something that was so crazy. You said it at the beginning of this talk. You said Rob Dukes is an amazing writer. He could write. His lyrics are so descriptive, so visual. His use of words, what you hear, you see and feel. Right?
Yes, exactly.
When you listen to Rob Dukes, right? What Bumblefoot did, besides having blessed us, the rock gods have blessed us by sending a rock guitar god down to play with us here in this earthly realm. But Rob Machete said, for the record, for instance, the record that we have a record called Lot Lizards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is about prostitutes on the road.
Okay.
When we did it, me, Rob, and Generation Kill and Rob Mo, we sitting there and we listened to the music, the guitars, the drums, and then we listened to Rob Duke sing this chorus, and then we listened to Rob Duke's lyrics, and you hear Mom, we're like, yo, this is a movie. And you can sit there, it's like a 5-minute, the record's almost 5 minutes long. We're going to probably have to do 2 versions of it, but it's it's actually a movie sitting there listening to it. Yesterday, Rob, and we're so excited about what he did with this song, Lot List, that we about to give Bumble all of it, whatever you need to do. But he described it like this: we had this 5-minute movie where Bumble starts pushing buttons, but then he plays on it. It became a 3D movie in IMAX. It went from the sound, if I talk about the sound, feel, and presentation, it was a movie. When Bumble got finished with it, it became a 3D movie in IMAX. To like, oh my, even Rob hits me and says, Rob Dukes hits us and says, I cannot stop listening to this song.
Wow, that brings up an interesting little point here. Are you planning on doing any live shows with the guys for this project? Yes. Because I'll tell you, if their songs are that good, you would be amazing as a visual seeing this live.
It's going to turn into a 2-year world tour.
Whoa!
Not just it's really that good. The Suicide song, the Lot Lizard song, the Fired Up songs. I mean, we got songs that will cross. I mean, besides it just being metal and hip-hop and rock, it's going to cross cultures. It's going to cross generations, young and old. Nice. It's hard, it's mean, but it's sincere. You know, I'm saying it's not even controversial. It's more it's so real, man.
No, that sounds great. I just imagine some visuals to that, and the live portion would be just amazing.
Yeah, no, you're 150% right. We gotta tour this. This is going to change not just music. It's just going to change creativity and culture.
This is what the music industry needs a bit of right now. There used to be some collaborations in this sort of fashion, but not for a while, man. This is going to be something new again.
Yeah. I mean, the music business is funny. It's like a lot of collaborations in the last 20 years maybe, have been done trying to do it for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even with Run-DMC, the whole PC phenomenon went like this for us. We was in the studio. Here's what's crazy. For me, it's coming full circle. When we first started recording, we used to record in record in New York City, Chungking House of Metal. The studio is where Anthrax and Slayer and all the punk bands were recording. Now this new music called hip-hop, because of, quality MCs and DJs like Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and Kumo D and all Africa Bambaataa in the beginning, the punk rockers and the rockers and even, some of the musicians who were doing R&B and disco started giving us a little respect. But our first areas of being allowed to participate in the music business, we all started recording where the metal groups and the punk rockers was doing. So we was in Chungking House of Metal. Rick Rubin, who was working with this punk rock group called the Beastie Boys, he started coming around the studio, hanging with Russell, and that led to Def Jam Records. But when the DJs like Jam Master Jay, even though he's a hip hop DJ, he was a DJ, so he knew music. So Jay and Rick used to talk, and one day Rick brings in these three. This was before they found Buddhism. They were a little more calmer before they found Buddhism. So he brings these three white guys into the studio, Chunky House of Metal, and he points over and asks, Rick Rubin says to Jay, do you think these three guys can make a hip-hop record? And Jay looked over and said, yeah, why not? So this punk rock band started making hip-hop. It went together, but in the early days, it was like, there's no way these white punk rockers from New York is going to get with these black hip-hoppers from New York, and anything good is going to happen. But like I said, we toured the world with the Beasties. We did the Raising Hell tour, and we did Together Forever. And even in the early days, before Run-DMC did Rockbox, Walk This Way wasn't the first rock rap record. The first rock rap record was Rockbox, which was the first rap video on MTV. Then we did King of Rock. Then we did Walk This Way.
Nice, yes.
But before we did Rockbox, before we put a guitar on a record, when we used to play New York City, Peppermint Lounge, when we used to play the Danceteria, even when we did the Roxy here and there, when we did all the little clubs down in Soho in the Village, there was the Ramones would always show up to watch us. Lou Reed would always show up to watch us. I remember people tend to forget, even Blondie made a record rapping, praising this DJ called Grandmaster Flash. Fat Freddy tells me everybody fly. Yeah. So the punk rockers, the rocks, and even the metalheads, when we used to play this club called the Peppermint Lounge in New York City with Sucker MCs. Sucker MCs was just me and Run rhyming over a beat. But to those rock kids, it wasn't that disco R&B rappers delight bullshit. When they heard me and Run 2 years, there's a guy rhyming about St. John's University eating chicken and collard greens over a song that's just beats. That was fucking raw rock shit to them. And we had the long hair, we had the spike and chains, and we had the punk rock rockers coming to see early Run. Beastie Boys was those three punk rockers. Yo, what's this? So it was always there, but it took something to bring it together. And the funny thing is, I remember when I first met Travis Barker, he said there's a lot of people that jumped on the rock rap bandwagon. When Walk This Way hit and went into every living room globally, with what the hell is Aerosmith doing with this? And even for our fans, who the hell is Run-DMC? What the hell Run-DMC with the Rolling Stones? Like, people didn't know what's going on. But for instance, younger rock kids, Travis Barker said, when I heard Rockbox, I knew I wanted to be a rock star. Yeah. I meet a lot of people who were in college or were at school, all those kids that was listening to Metallica and Ozzy Osbourne, it was Rockbox that let them know, oh, wow, we could be with this. Yeah. And it was the same thing for the hip-hop kids in here. When we first put Rockbox out, me and Run were a little nervous. We made the label do two versions. If you do your homework, you can find a version of Rockbox without the guitar. As a matter of fact, when we dropped the single, it was the A-side was the Rockbox that you'll know of today, and the B-side was the side without guitars, just in case the black hip-hoppers didn't like it.
Yeah.
So even me and Run didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, good idea. Good idea there. Great. Now, one thing I was wondering, too, do you guys have sort of any tentative timelines for the album to be out, like summer or before summer or something like that?
What we're going to do is we're going to drop, because when I met Rob, the Generation Kill was working on their next record, and I've been working on my next record. Now, on my next record, so far my next record, speaking of Travis Barker, I'm about, I would say 82% done. My manager would probably say 95% done, then you gotta stop making records. But I'm about 82% done with my solo project, which was going to be all live, DMC, new music with, doing the Run-DMC catalog live.
Oh, nice.
Run-DMC, when Jay was alive, rest in peace, we never done our music live. Besides the times when we did Walk This Way with Aerosmith, but I'm talking about doing Rockbox live, Sucker MCs live, Tricky live, Mary Mary live, even Sucker MCs with a riff on it. So I was working on this album. So far on the album, I got Travis Barker on there.
Nice.
I got Sebastian Bach from Skid Row on there.
Oh, nice.
I got Mick Mars from Motley Crue on there. I got a song with Rome from Sublime. I just hooked up about 2 months ago with Tim Armstrong from Rancid, who produced 3 crazy, incredible records. So I was already going this route.
Wow.
And my plan was to work with live musicians and do what Run-DMC did, but completely live. No programmed drums or nothing like that. What had happened was, about a year and a half ago, I do a lot of touring and shows with Jackal, the rock band Jackal.
Oh, yeah, Jackal, I remember, yeah.
Jesse James Dupree and them. They took me to Sturgis about 3 or 4 years ago. And every now and then I go out on the road and I tour with Jackal. Jackal was doing one of their full throttle saloon Throttle Fest lives about a year and a half ago, and there was this band called Pop Evil there.
Oh, yeah.
And Jesse James Dupree's son, Nigel Dupree, said, D, you love real good rock music, don't you? You gotta come see this band. So I went and I saw this band called Pop Evil play, and I just stood there on the side of the stage and said, oh my God, good new shit does exist, you know what I'm saying? And their manager came over there and said, yo, what do you think about the band? And I just had 10 stars. Their show was incredible, their records was incredible, they look awesome when they play. It was just that thing that I always got excited about. And their manager said, yo, you should do, he said it jokingly, you should do something with them. And I said, okay. And he looked at me like, really, you would do it? I was like, yeah, send me the track. So they sent me their track of Trenches.
Yeah.
So we did a remix version, of Trenches featuring DMC. Came out really good, so I started going out on the road and, doing them with them. Last year, at Rock on the Range, they invited me to come play with them. So I go to Rock on the Range, my first time being at Rock on the Range, and you had everybody who's to a rock music there, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm backstage, and all the groups, Slayer, Anthrax, Guns N' Roses, everybody who sees me is getting excited to see me. And I'm like, man, this is yours. And everybody was asking me, do you playing? Do you playing? You playing? You playing? I'm like, yeah, I'm a surprise, whatever. I couldn't reveal it, but it was like I was getting so much love back there. But to make a long story short, when I was sitting in the lunchroom and Eddie Trunk and everybody was back there doing the interviews, and they was, hey, dude, we want to talk to you, whatever. So Rob comes up to me, yo, DMC, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Yo, Greg, you playing? Whatever. And I'm like, damn. I said, I wish I damn sure was. I mean, making a long story short, Rob just says, oh, yo, I want to give you a CD of my band. I just want you to check it out. And I was like, shit, I would love to. You know what I'm saying? So he walks away. I had to go do an interview, and when I came back to the room, he was gone. So make a long story short, I performed on with Pop Evil. We did Trenches. We brought out the Marines. We tore the house down. It was crazy. So next morning, I'm going into the airport. I'm walking through the airport, and I look up. Oh, shoot, it's Rob. And Rob said, oh, my God, I don't believe this. So he gives me the CD, right? And he says, yeah, take the CD, just check it out, whatever, you know, mutual respect between us or whatever. And when I was, without even hearing the CD, I just jokingly said to him, yo, we should do something together. And he said, yeah, well, let's do something together. And I was like, I'm serious. He said, I'm serious too. Make a long story short, I go home, put the CD in my pickup truck, and I'm driving around, listening to the whole CD stop to end. One of the records that really caught me was Carney Love.
Yeah.
So when it got to that Carney Love record, right then and there, as soon as I finished the CD, yo, I call him up, yo, we got to do something, whatever. And he's like, cool. You know, when do you want to start? I'm like, now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, you come in. And he was telling me, oh, hold up, slow down, D. You know, I'm getting ready to move to Arizona Executives, but here's what you could do. It was like, yo, my band, he said, you live in Jersey, right? I said, yo, my band is like right up 287 over by you. He said, here, take his contact, set it up, you know, just go and see what happens, come out to Bob. So make a long story short, you know, he puts me in touch with Rob Mo. Me and Rob, we get on. It's funny. Rob is so much like me when it comes to creativity because he just want to do it. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to think of it, and then 2 weeks later we get together, and then when we get in the studio, not lay nothing down. Let's just talk ideas and do sample stuff. Rob's the type of guy. If you got a lyric and he's gonna make some music, that's a record. No. So make a long story short, you know, I go over to Rob's house in the basement, right? And we go down in the basement, and I just start spitting some lyrics. While I'm spitting the lyrics, he's pulling out this little drum-type machine that I've never seen before, and he starts doing drum beats and this and that. He hits the beat, whatever, spit the lyrics. I spit 2 verses. He says, cool, this is a rough thing. I'll go home. A day later, he calls me and says, what's your email? I'm sending you a track. He sends me a full track with drums, guitar, bass, and everything. That was one of the first records. So then the next day, I go over his house. We lay that down. While I'm there, we lay that down. I leave. He says, come back tomorrow. I have more stuff. I come back tomorrow. He got 2 more songs. So I went there. We made 1 song. Then we wound up with 3 songs. And he was like, yo, this is going so good. Let's just turn this into a, no, he said this might turn into a full-length album. So then we sent everything to Rob Dukes, and then it was over. That's when ideas for concepts, how D should write, or if they like what I already wrote, let's put that here and then move that over there. And that's just like one of the most beautiful processes of how something good for mankind musically happened.
Nice. It looks like it fell
and that's
into
basically
place.
How it happened.
Great. Looks like it fell right into place for you, man. That's great. Don't want to take up too much of your time, man, but it's been a great great honor speaking with you. And,
thank you. I mean, the thing is now is to, I guess when we get Lot Lizard finalized, speak back to, the good thing about Lot Lizard, it just shows you a teaser of how good me and Rob are going to be together. But Lot Lizard, what I was going to say about the albums was I was working on my album, and they was working on theirs. We already said 3 records recorded with an idea for 7. We're going to do an 8-song album so that when we do tour together, or when I show up on their sets or bring them on my sets, we have a lot of records to do, but the whole idea for the presentation will go like this. One of the first records that we did together was this record called Fired Up, right? So the Fired Up song featuring Rob Dukes, produced by Rob Dukes and Generation Kill, is going to be the first single off my solo album. And what that does is it sets up people so they can see how we work together. But the crazy thing about this record, Fired Up, is, imagine Tricky. It's Tricky to Rock a Rhyme, heavy with Generation Kill. It's that that record, and when people hear this record, they're gonna go, "Whoa, this is so awesome!" The way they do, the Fired Up record is a typical DMC, record. It's not merry, it's quite contrary, but it's hard and it's heavy. When people hear the first single off the collab album, it's going to make people really desire, please fill in the dots, because we got to hear all that other stuff. It's almost like two extremes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, for sure, man. That's amazing. I can't wait for this one. I really can't. It's going to be new and fresh, I'll tell you that.
Yes, that's all it is. It's new, fresh, and it's a whole lot of fun. But one thing I got to say is it's hard for me to say this because people will say, how could that be? But yes, it could be. I think this is the best records of my career.
Oh, cool. That's really interesting to say,
really,
man.
man. And Rob said, how could you say that when you done did? Put it like this. This music that I'm doing with Generation Kill is like It's Tricky, Walk This Way, and My Adidas on steroids.
Right.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to end it, man. That is amazing, and that's can't wait to hear that. So, yeah, no, thanks very much for your time. Can't wait to hear the album. Can't wait to hear
Thank you.
This is Ron from YouTube's Rock and Metal News. Thanks for tuning in.